Hi rock fans, hi everyone. It is now time to choose my top 5 favorite rock albums from the year 1978. And I think 1978 was a pretty good year for rock music in general, especially hard rock music and punk music too. And here's a list of some important or very popular albums released during that year. Blondie, Parallel Lines, Bob Seger, Stranger in Town, The Cars, self-titled album, Bruce Springsteen, Darkness on the Edge of Town, The Police, Atlantis Demo. This album could be number 6. It almost made my list. So The Police, Atlantis Demo, Boston, Don't Look Back, The Wings, London Town, Elvis Costello, This Year's Model, Dire Straits, self-titled album, Neil Young, Comes to Town, Black Sabbath, Never Say Die, and also soundtracks like Grease, which I think it was a pretty good soundtrack. But I had to choose 5 albums, and here's my list. So at number 5, the album I choose is a Rolling Stones album, Some Girls, which is my second favorite Rolling Stones album from the 70s. Yeah, Sticky Fingers is my favorite, and I love, you know, I like Exile on Main Street, but Some Girls is my second favorite Rolling Stones album from the 70s. And I think this was their best album with Ron Wood, and I especially love songs like Beast of Burden and Before They Make Me Run. When the Whip Comes Down is also a pretty good rocker. Just My Imagination, Respectable, the title track, Lies. Pretty good album. So the Rolling Stones, Some Girls at number 5. Okay, let's continue with number 4. And I think for some people, or probably for a lot of people, this album could be number 3, 2, or even number 1 on your list. This is a pretty good debut album, one of the best debut album for sure. And I'm talking about Van Halen, first and self-titled album. And I especially love Eruption. This is my favorite track from the album. And You Really Got Me, Jamie's Crying, Ain't Talking About Love are pretty good songs too. Running with the Devil, Atomic Punk. And this is number 4 on my list, Van Halen self-titled album. Okay, number 3 for me is an AC/DC album, Power Age. And just like Let There Be Rock, this album is so powerful. I mean, the guitars are very heavy, and that's what I love from this album. And I just love most of the songs here. Down Payment Blues, especially Riff Raff and Sin City, 2 great songs. What's Next to the Moon is also pretty good. Kicking the Teeth, I love or really like all the songs here. So AC/DC Power Age at number 3. Now number two and number 1 for me are almost equal. It was a little bit hard, to choose between these 2 albums, which one would be number 2 and which one would be number 1. But at the moment, I finally went for the Ramones' Road to Ruin at number 2. This album was their 4th album, and this was their first album with new drummer Marky Ramone. And compared to their first 3 albums, this one sounds a little bit commercial. I don't like to use the word commercial, but it sounds more accessible, because for the first time we have some guitar solos here on this album, but it's still very good. in my opinion, and I love the opening track. I just want to have something to do. uh, Don't come close, needles and pins, I'm against it. I want to be sedated, which was one of the hit songs from the album. Go Mental, Question English is the one. I just love most of the songs here. So the Ramones' Road to Ruin at number 2. And finally, number 1 for me, and I don't know if this would be a surprising choice or not, but anyway, my favorite album from the year 1978 is Ace Frehley's self-titled and first solo album. And Ace Frehley is definitely my favorite Kiss member, and this was his first solo album. And I love songs like Ozone, What's on Your Mind, and New York Groove. I love these three songs so much. And White Out is also pretty good. And especially Fractured Mirror. What a beautiful song. I love the guitar work so much here in that song. A great song, Fractured Mirror. Rip It Out is also pretty good. And this is my number 1 choice for the year 1978. Ace Frehley self-titled and first solo album. So Ace Frehley at number 1. So that was it for this top 5 favorite rock albums video. And I'd like to know what is your list. What is your top 5 favorite rock albums from the year 1978. So thanks for watching and see you for my next video.